Welcome to this edition of Leading With, and I'm privileged to have my friend Elizabeth Davis Richard on this call today and on this interview. And Elizabeth is a Tony-nominated actress from New York City, been on Broadway for more than the last decade. I just want to talk to her today about leading with courage in this new normal, because she is an actress who has been deeply impacted by the COVID-19 reality that we're all facing, but also she's a part of an industry that's been deeply impacted as well. And so Elizabeth, welcome. Grateful to be able to have this conversation with you.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
Maybe give us a little bit of a sneak peek as to what's actually happening on Broadway in the theater industry and just what that reality looks like and feels like for people like yourself. I mean, countless thousands of people that are impacted by this.
Yeah, it feels pretty unspeakable. A lot of friends we, are just checking in on the regular, and people have no idea what this process is going to look like. I mean, shutting Broadway down for more than a month. I mean, I think at 9/11 it shut down for 48 hours. So the financial repercussions are truly unspeakable. And there's already been 2 Broadway shows that were in previews that have announced they're not going to reopen. And I happened to shoot I had a second day of a shoot of a music video that was on the street where 2 of the shows have been announced. So I have this footage in the can of 45th Street and what it looked like of 2 shows that will never open. It's crazy. So yeah, people are reeling. I'm saying this, that whenever we do get back, it's going to feel like that moment in Wizard of Oz where it goes from black and white to Technicolor of the moment of saying, we know the importance of how art is healing and how it allows us to deal with kind of the unspeakable. It's going to feel that much more important and weighty, I think, when we're able to unshutter. And for me personally, as I was mentioning, a contract that I'm about to go into, we have shifted around. We've lost probably 2 months of that work, but we're moving it around and putting it in a different place as of an email I received yesterday. So, everyone is trying to readjust. It's really rough. So, but at the same time, it's I think we all keep talking about this too, that this is going to force creative people to create in a new way. And if this is what we should be really good at, is saying we take what's happening and we turn it around and we offer people something that heals and allows us to move forward. And so it's going to obviously take a while, but I think that the theater community, the film industry, we're going to have kind of a renaissance of material, I really believe, of people. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, that it's kind of the next question I wanted to ask, believing that necessity is the mother of all invention. Obviously, this is unprecedented for your industry. And so what are some of the things that you are seeing happen, innovations you're already currently seeing happen? And maybe then even a follow-up to that, some things you're hoping will happen as a result of this.
There was an immediate push to take archival videos of productions and make them accessible. So, for example, the New York Public Library has an entire archive of almost every Broadway show, and I don't know reaching back how far, but I know that there's a movement right now to try to make all those plays and musicals accessible to people. I think it's kind of a union issue they're pushing through, but I think that's being worked on. Look, there are countless people popping up doing concerts in their house, countless people of healthcare professionals who are somehow connected to the industry, and then theater professionals doing concerts from home. And so that's happening all over. Just random people, I was like, I'll just start doing violin songs every day. So it is not stopping people from being creative, and that's exciting and important. I am very curious how this is going to change the industry at large. I think it's doing two things at the same time. It's proving that we don't have to be in the room together to create together, but it's also deepening this hunger for communal experiences. Mm-hmm. Like people are just desperate to be together. And so, yeah, I think those two things, I think perhaps we'll even see a further explosion of the work because you realize how much you can get done remotely. Yeah. And people, I think, like, I'm looking at a show starting, hopefully, God willing, in 4 months. I think people are going to be desperate to go to the theater, to go to the opera, to go to communal spaces where we receive at the same time something that can hopefully transform us. So we'll see. But I also think
the disruption. You think the disruption is actually more of a spark for creativity than just being in the day-to-day of it all? Even though your job is creation, I would imagine it's like anything else. You kind of get into the rat race of it, and So, are you seeing that? Are you feeling that?
I agree, Aaron. I think like people being forced to be still and know that He's God, like people being forced to say, why do I create? How do I create? For whom do I create? What is important? Why do I do this in the first place? Yeah, those deep why questions are being forced upon people, and that will, of course, clean out the well for folks. I'm sure that it's going to also, for producers, for writers, to say, wait, I shouldn't be just creating for money. Like, I'm not just going to create a show just because I think I'm going to make bucks. No, I think this is really going to force people to create from the core. If people are creating from like the fringes of themselves, that's not truly the work. The work that we really want to see, and that we go to why we go to the Broadway or why we go see movies, because someone is honed in on the very center of themselves and are sharing that crisis moment leading to that discovery moment. And so, yeah, I'm staying tuned for some explosive work.
Let me just ask like one last question as we wrap up here. So imagine you do have a crystal ball. Where is Elizabeth Davis, and then where is the larger Broadway community 1 year from now?
1 year? Well, in 1 year, hopefully we'll be camped out on Broadway on 42nd. That's the plan. I'll be hanging out on the Great White Way with the fiddle. That's me personally. I hope that the theater community can find a renewed sense of purpose, that we are able as a community to have more of a focused, restored understanding of how to love audiences well. And yeah, I hope that people can come back. I hope that we're able to, as another friend is saying, turn the lights back on.
Right.
And that our time in the darkness will really inform what we do as we walk into the light.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, listen, we're thinking about you guys, love you guys. And again, thank you very much for sharing your insights, and God bless.
Thank you.